This is a subject which confused many as to why the double row rank plaques and single row rank plaques overlapped with each other during those earlier years of the Galactic Empire. Discover the 4 changes to the Imperial military ranking structure over the course of the Empire's reign. And welcome to another video by Imperials Explained. During the first 19 years of the Empire's existence leading up to the Battle of Yavin, the sector and fleet command staff held the authority over their regular local Imperial Navy or Army units, already stationed in an Imperial-controlled sector. In effect, sector and local fleet command staff would become troubleshooters of rebellious resistance in their sectors and reported to the local sector MOF. But I wanted to explain the evolution of the Imperial military's rank structure over the Empire's entire reign and beyond as the splintered Imperial remnant continued. From virtually the very beginning of the Galactic Empire's birth, double row rank plaques existed for Imperial officers who belonged to an elite military group called the Imperial Starfleet, which answered only to the Imperial High Command on Coruscant. These were only assigned and deployed to protect Imperial projects or significant battles, for example, the Death Star project in space, Mount Tantis, a facility built upon a planet, or to subjugate a defiant world or organisation. At this time it was commonplace to see an officer wearing a single row rank plaque to denote their position within a particular rank branch structure, for example the Navy Line branch, the Navy Security branch, the Army Line branch, or the Army Operations Ancillary branch, to name a few. Culturally, within the Imperial Navy and Army, it created a rift between the regular Imperial Navy and Army counterparts, who patrolled and guarded Imperial territory and answered to the local Imperial Governor and Sector MOF. This led to even more tension between the two ranking structures when the sector or fleet command staff ordered their regular Imperial forces to assist them. The local governors and MOFs often felt undermined by their superior military officers for leaving their resources vulnerable and began building and increasing their forces to compensate. The Imperial Ruling Council frowned upon MOFs who were building their own local Imperial forces, and introduced a structure whereby the MOF would command their own sector or fleet command staff to better distribute Imperial forces when an emergency situation arose for the military to attack against Imperial law. This initially greatly improved the ranking structure as a whole and removed the blurred lines of authority between the military branches across the galaxy. However, only on a local sector scale, as Grand MOFs and the Imperial Ruling Council could override a MOF to order their forces to be used on a larger scale threat to the Empire where necessary. So let's look at how the Imperial ranking structure changed over the course of the Empire's 23-year reign over the galaxy. There were 4 changes to the Imperial military rank system to note, if you count the transfer from the original Galactic Republic's military ranks to the first Galactic Empire's ranks, which I have covered extensively in previous videos. So not to go into too much detail about the Galactic Republic ranks, I will focus solely on the Galactic Republic Navy rank plaques, which unlike the Empire's ranking system, was very different from the Galactic Republic's clone army ranks. The Republic's Navy rank plaques resembled closely to the Galactic Empire's less complicated double row rank plaque system, but with a different insignia tile arrangement to its military predecessor. However, when the Republic was reorganised into the First Galactic Empire, the entire military, navy and army rank structure changed into a complicated combination of mainly single row rank plaques with a mixed number of double row rank plaques for sector and fleet command staff. But the rationale behind the larger military system was due to the Empire's expansion to increase the Imperial military territory, which had made their grip on the galaxy extremely complex to keep order. The Empire, particularly in the early years, recruited huge numbers into its new Imperial officer ranks to ensure the Navy and the Army could cope with the demands of the vast galaxy of worlds and sectors. The Galactic Republic structure was far smaller and less complex, also only consisted of 2 branches, the Navy and the Grand Army. The Empire's military war machine expanded greatly upon that and added completely separate branches which held separate reporting lines, for example the Stormtrooper Corps, the Starfighter Corps, Navy Security and the security branches of the Imperial Security Bureau and Military Intelligence. These were all classed as ancillary branches alongside the more traditional Navy and Army branches, and so rivalries formed between them with overlapping responsibilities. As mentioned earlier in the video, the second change was not a structural change, but was an Imperial High Command decision to allow MOFs to take charge of their own sector and fleet command staff, to better deal with serious threats to Imperial security. Although it is not clear when the decision was made to expand the MOF's authority, but must have been within the first 10 years of Palpatine's rule. The Empire's original rank structure continued up until the biggest setback transpired at the Battle of Yavin, when millions of the Empire's best officers died upon its destruction in 0 BBY. The sheer number of officers lost prompted a rethink by the Imperial High Command, who realised a simple temporary rank structure was required to quickly reorganise the original system. This became the largest and third change to the Imperial military rank structure, and so the introduction of double row rank plaques was deployed, and furthermore was replicated across every Imperial military branch, which had previously held its own configuration of coloured tiles to represent them. So although the plaques and levels of ranks were simplified, the structure remained for a year or so, while millions of new officers were fast-tracked through the many Imperial academies stretching across the galaxy. The final and fourth military rank structure change happened roughly after around 3 ABY, when a completely new structure was created. It consisted of position ranks, the more traditional line ranks, and also specialist ranks. Position ranks were introduced as a temporary rank awarded to an assignment. Line ranks operated with the same protocols as before, acting with the traditional senior command staff aboard starships and Imperial facilities or bases. Specialist ranks were officers who originally filled the ancillary branches of the military rank structure, for example Army Operations or Navy Security. This is how the structure remained for a time, even beyond the Empire's decisive defeat at the Battle of Endor, where the splintered Imperial factions, especially lower ranked officers, would retain their ranks. Mainly very senior Imperials who promoted themselves became self-proclaimed Imperial warlords, but also held strange and made-up ranks such as High Admirals, Superior Generals, and many other titles which would have not existed during Emperor Palpatine's reign. Check out this video to learn about the post-Yavin rank structure in more detail. And as always, long live the Empire!